Enola Holmes, the NSA, and Barack Obama are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is November 4th, 2022. It is the 308th day of the year. There's 57 days left. It is the 44th Friday in the 44th week and the 44th day of fall. That's a lot of fours. You got 47 days left until winter. Today is National Candy Day. On November 4th, we celebrate the sweetest holiday we got, National Candy Day. Candies have a long history of attracting us with their bright colors and delightful flavors. It's almost like fishing lures for human beings. I mean, candy tastes good, but also the way they make it look, it makes you just want it. Candy comes in all types of flavors, different shapes, different sizes. In the late 13th century, the English started using the word candy, and basically they got it from the French. Here's what it is. I don't know how to pronounce that. And that's actually a derivative from a Persian word for cane sugar. People use the term candy as a broad category. We treat candy bars, chocolate, licorice, sour candy, salty candies, tart candies, hard candies, truffles, gumdrops, marshmallows, and much more. Just we use the word candy for all of them. In the early days, a lot of it was made out of honey because sugar wasn't always readily available for people. Honey was a lot more accessible. And a lot of those candies originally were used as medicine to soothe your upset stomach or your sore throat, things like that. But the actual candies that came with sugar cane, you normally just found those, in wealthy people's homes. The average Joe couldn't afford real chocolate and things like that. Here's some quick facts about candy. In 1847, Oliver R. Chase invents and patents the first candy press in America. This Boston inventor's creation made it possible to have different shapes and different ingredients. In 1851, confectioners, which that's what they call them, began using a revolving steam pan to assist in the boiling of the sugar. Here's a big one. In 1897, William Morrison and John C. Wharton of Nashville invented the first cotton candy machine. At the time, the fluffy puffs of spun sugar were called fairy floss. All right, let's see what else November 4th has given us. 1791, the Northwest Indian War. The Western Confederacy of American Indians wins a major victory over the United States in the Battle of Wabash. 1864, the American Civil War. Confederate troops bombard a Union supply base and destroy millions of dollars in material at the Battle of Johnsonville. 1939, World War II. U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt orders the United States Customs Service to implement the Neutrality Act of 1939, allowing cash and carry purchases of weapons for Allied countries in conflicts. Now, this was just a way for us to kind of stay out of things, but still help our allies. Eventually, we couldn't stay out of things anymore, as we all know. 1952, the United States government establishes the National Security Agency, or NSA. 1973, the Netherlands experiences the first car-free Sunday caused by the 1973 oil crisis. Highways are used only by cyclists and roller skaters. So if you're old enough, you remember the 1973 oil crisis. Some call it the first oil crisis. In case you don't remember, I'll help you out. In October of 1973, when members of OPEC, which is the oil-producing, exporting countries, led by Saudi Arabia, proclaimed an oil embargo. The embargo was targeted at nations that had supported Israel during the Yom Kippur War. Those countries were Canada, Japan, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The embargo eventually went on to include Portugal, Rhodesia, and South Africa. This embargo only lasted until March of 1974, but prices had gone up 300% in that time, from about $3 a barrel to $12 a barrel globally. They also had something similar to this happen in 1979. But the 1973 one really affected the United States and really the entire world. There was a lot of problems that became of this. So a lot of countries, like the Netherlands, tried to promote using other means of transportation than your car. And this was one of them, Car-Free Sunday. Now this was sort of the first one that was done on a national level for any country. And other countries picked up on it, and some countries have continued to do it since then. They'll have one day a year where they just don't have cars. Normally, these days it's celebrated on September 22nd. But different countries have their own things, and sometimes it's entire cities, things like that, like Iceland has theirs, Bath in the United Kingdom, a few other European cities. I don't think we do anything like that here in the United States anymore. We love our cars. 1979, Iran hostage crisis. A group of Iranian college students overrun the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and take 90 hostages. This goes on until our next one. 1980, Ronald Reagan is elected the 40th president of the United States, defeating incumbent Jimmy Carter. Those hostages were not released till Ronald Reagan was sworn in. It was like 5 minutes after he was sworn in and Jimmy Carter was out of office, they released the hostages. 2008, Barack Obama becomes the first person of biracial or African-American descent to be elected as the President of the United States. Premieres today, Enola Holmes 2. This is a pretty interesting little series. Enola Holmes was the first one, came out in 2020. It's a mystery film based on the first book in the young adult fiction series of the same name by Nancy Springer. And it's on Netflix, and it stars Millie Bobby Brown. You probably know her from Stranger Things. She plays Sherlock Holmes' teenage sister. The first one was great, and the second one comes out today. I can hardly wait to watch it. Actually, by the time most of you are watching this, I will have already watched it. It'll come out at midnight, and I don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning anyway, so that's worthy of my late night viewing activities. Born on November 4th, 1961, Ralph Macchio. You remember him, Daniel LaRusso from the 1984 classic Karate Kid. And he's now in a hit series, Cobra Kai. That's a strange one. Cobra Kai is like, when Karate Kid was over and these guys get older, what happened to them? Well, it's really, really good series. It was on YouTube Red originally. It had gotten offers from Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and AMC, and I guess YouTube won the bidding war because it was only on YouTube Red. They did 2 seasons on YouTube, and then eventually they had made the 3rd season. YouTube decided not to keep going with it, so Netflix picked it up. Right now they're in their 5th season, and it's pretty good. Ralph Macchio plays a good part, but it's Ralph Macchio's birthday. He made his debut appearance through television commercials for Bubble Yum and Dr. Pepper. He made his first film debut in Up the Academy, which hit theaters in 1980. I've seen that one. It's kind of stupid and kind of funny. Reminds you of like a National Lampoon type movie. He also acted in My Cousin Vinny. Remember that one with Joe Pesci? That was a good movie. Died on November 4th, 1955, Cy Young, legendary 511 game winner who pitched 3 no-hitters throughout his career, including a perfect game on May 5th, 1904. He had the most success with the Cleveland Spiders and the Boston Americans and Red Sox. The season-ending award for the top pitcher in the American League and National League is named after him. Sadly, even though he's one of the greatest baseball players ever, he lived in poverty after he retired, pretty much. His wife died in 1933, and after she died, Young tried several jobs and eventually moved in with some friends that owned a farm, and he did odd jobs for them. Young took part in many baseball events after his retirement. In 1937, 26 years after he had retired from baseball, Young was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was among the first to actually donate things to the Hall. By 1940, Young's only source of income was stock dividends of $300 a year, which is about just under $6,000 a year in today's money. On November 4th, 1955, Young died at his friend's farm at the age of 88. He was buried in Ohio. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.